Kentucky, and the wearing of the green, the luck of the Irish, followed Bill Heflin in the first match. He took out Kerry Logan 245 to 220. Heflin then went on to meet Jim Beckler. Beckler had rolled to 300 in the qualifiers, but Heflin, the big southpaw, had no problem there, rolling the second highest game on the TV King this year, 268 to 227. So he went on to take out the King. For 4 weeks running, Greg Lothian. And Heflin, once again, with the luck of the Irish behind him, knocked off Lothian 221 to 185 to win the King in Week 8 of Hudipol's TV King of Bowling. Hi everybody, and welcome to Week 9 of Hudipol's TV King of Bowling. I'm Tom Verrato. And Bo Hudipol, this week we venture into Western Hills to Stumps Lanes, where we haven't been in a couple of years.
That's right, we haven't been here for 2 years. We have new owners, Mike and Tim McDonald, who have done wonders with the place since they bought it.
Just a quick look at the place. It does look like they've done wonders here. Bo, Dave Newrath, a great week of bowling and qualifying. We almost had Dave in the top 4, but you were beat out by some pretty good talents, namely a young kid by the name of Burrus.
That's right. We're going to see contrasting lines today, Tom. Burrus is going to be going around the ball a little bit more, covering more boards, out and back again. He does it well, and he's got some pins flying around.
His opponent in the first match is George Richmond, and the last time George Richmond was on the TV King of Bowling was right here at Stumps Lanes back in '79.
I remember it very well. Bowled against George. We had a rough match. We left a couple of corner pins. I won that day, but today he's probably going to be carrying. It looks good in practice.
Down the road, our king from week number 8, Bill Heflin, and when we come back, we'll start with Game 1 in Week 9 here on Hudipol's TV King of Bowling.
Hudipol, King of Bowling. Brought to you by the Hudipol Brewing Company, America's great small brewery. Enjoy a refreshing 7-Up at Greater Cincinnati BPA Bowling Centers.
Channel 5 and Cincinnati Style moves into Western Hills this week at Stumps Lanes. Hard to believe it's Week 9, but it's Hudipol's TV King of Bowling. Hi everybody, I'm Tom Verrato along with Dave Newrath and Bo Hudipol, ready to bring you game number 1 between Robin Burrus, who you're looking at right now, and George Richmond. Burrus's first ball. Let's see if it follows in the tradition with the strike. Oh boy, Dave, luck of the Irish following him a week late.
I told you he's going to be covering some boards, Tom, and there you saw it. Way out and way back, almost too late, going from a bad break to a good break, leaving the 10-pin.
Robin Burrus, 22-year-old computer programmer at Central Trust, right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. First time on the BPA TV King. He's qualified, or he's tried to qualify 3 times, and maybe a little jitters first time, Bo.
It certainly looks like it. He pulled that ball pretty bad across his body.
So he leaves the door wide open for George Richmond. As we mentioned in the open, George Richmond has appeared once on the TV King. That was back in '79, right here in Western Hills at Stumps Lanes. And his opponent, at least for one of those games, Dave Newrath. Dave, he looks like he brings a lot of years of experience to the line today.
George has been around for a while, and his style of game has always suited this house well.
Oh,
you see it. He's kind of rubbing his thumb up there. It'll be hung in that ball. Anytime you hang in the ball, it's going to kill the roll, therefore kill the pin action. Leaving a weak 7 could have been the 5-7 very easily.
Contrast, as you said earlier, not only in styles, maybe in age. Burrus, 22-year-old. George Richmond, 45-year-old. Pipe fitter from Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's see if he has any better luck with the spare. And no, we have 2 open frames. Burrus and Richmond, both leaving opposite 7 and 10 pins.
Well, there's 2 candidates for our tip of the week on single pin spares, Bo, whenever that comes up.
That's right. We're talking about timing today, and maybe timing is affecting how they've delivered the last 2 deliveries.
Well, let's hope they take time out to watch it.
That's for sure.
George Richmond, second frame, after an open in the first. Well, looks like he's back on track. 10-pin was a little reluctant to fall there, like it was with Burrus, but end up getting it.
The direct line that George Richmond throws will leave a few 10 pins, and as I made reference to that one time, between the two of us, we left our fair share, but it also keeps him out of trouble. The big bender, this big bender.
22-year-old Robin Burrus. There it is. That was the mix he was looking for the first time around.
You bet, you bet. That ball was flush. It was absolutely perfect. The big bender, he's got to calm down, and when you can control it, you're not going to leave very many pins, Tom.
I mentioned we're up at Stumps in Western Hills today. Next week, Bo, we're at Strikes and Spares over in Blue Ash, and we already have some names, some familiar names on the leaderboard.
That's for sure. We are at Strikes and Spares qualifying yesterday and today. So far, Mike Whalen is on the leaderboard with a 683. We have a lady, Joanne Hafley, who is going so well, shot 679. Joe Brown with a 670. 604 is cashing for the men, 543 for the ladies.
Well, speaking of cashing, you're going to have to see if Mr. Burrus could cash in this 210, Dave.
Exactly. You see it there. He's throwing one of the newer pieces of equipment, the hammer bowling ball. Urethane has really come a long way, but you still have to throw the ball over your target to make it do what you want it to do. Accuracy shot.
Hit the 2 flush. Really wasn't going to do anything.
No, sir.
So, at least through 4 frames, it looked like both bowlers were riding a roller coaster at Stumps. Opens on the left lanes, hitting their marks on the right.
Well, if he can get lined up on the left-hand lane, he might throw a bunch of strikes, but that's all part of the game. You got to figure it out. Then you got to go up and execute. Right now, the left lane's bothering him.
Can we have a replay?
So, Burrus in the 5th frame. Rather, compared to last week, Bo, where we saw 3 very fast-paced games, this seems to have slowed things down in the game 1.
You know, sometimes if they're a little bit more nervous than normal, they have a tendency to bowl a little faster, and I think that's what helped the games go so fast last week. Plus a lot of strikes. Our average went up 2 pins. We're at 212.
212. This man averaging 205, Robin Burrus, still finding some trouble on the left lane. Looking like they're hitting it just a little bit high there, Dave.
You put your finger right on it, Tom. He's shaking his head. He doesn't know quite what to do with that left-hand lane. That's where the experience comes in. The years of doing certain things and not working out, and all of a sudden you figure out, hey, when this happens, I'm going to do this. Robin doesn't have that many years of experience behind him yet, but boy, does he have the ball.
Been bowling since he was 5 years old, Robin Burrus, but as I said, first time before the lights and the cameras here on the TV King.
You know, Robin's mother has been the Girls Travel League coordinator for the BPA All-Star Travel League for the past 2 years, and Robin did bowl in the Travel League. Is fresh out of it. He's pretty young.
Started bowling in Las Vegas, but this man, George Richmond, started bowling when he was 18 years old. Quick check of mathematics says that's 27 years. Started at Delfair lanes. Set of lanes we've seen earlier in the year. Richmond leaves the 10 pin. And you're right, Dave, it's passing the hammer back and forth today. No one really wants this game.
Really, look out.
Boy, that's almost unprecedented in this year, at least that we've seen, Bo, and I think the scores will attest to that. At 212 average, you don't really see 3 open frames.
Not normally, that's for sure.
We can sit and take a look at the score and see what the status is so far. You take it, I don't want it, but Mr. Burrus has taken it so far. He will have a tentative 67 without bowling, and that gives him a 2-pin advantage. You kind of pencil a 9 in there, which gives him an 11-pin lead.
Well, that was a flush 10.
Oh, that was a good shot right there, Tommy. We'll take a look at it here on the replay. This is an excellent shot. 1-3 pocket, no deflection. Watch the ball. Take out the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 8. The 9. Excuse me.
Robin
corrections.
Oh, once again, going on the Brooklyn side and coming up with 10 in the pit.
Well, you don't question him. You just go ahead and take him. That might be the one to loosen him up right there. That gives him a 12-pin advantage. 6 frame. Both bowlers strike up in the 6 frame.
Burrus's best game, a 299, no 300. And Bo for 300 this year. The TV King, as we see Mr. Burrus getting started a little late. Take a look at Burrus's strike, his back-to-back strikes here again, Dave.
This is excellent. Watch the strike, but watch the reaction. You know when you do it right. The intensity on the face, does he like it? You bet he does. Come on, he says, roots at home, and yeah.
George Richmond has to get on his horse and get going here. 3 open frames in 6 for Mr. Richmond. 45-year-old pipe fitter right from Cincinnati, and he answers the call with 10 down.
There you go. Leaves the deficit at 12 pins. Both bowlers double working. George has both of his shots flush in the pocket.
But we're not... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead,
Yeah,
Dave.
the advantage may go to George at this point, but I tell you what, the pin count is in Burrus's favor. You really don't know. We got 3 frames left. Let's see what happens.
Let's just see what George can do here. Oh, I mentioned we're not going to see a 300 game this time around, but possibly in the next 2 we may, and
That's
nice
correct.
prize for the winner.
We sure do. If there a 300 game is rolled on TV this year, Jimmers Marine will be awarding a $11,000 bass boat. For the high game on TV this year, 7-Up is giving a television, and of course we know Daryl Higgins still holds that honor with a 269 game.
And of course, the knob on that set is glued to Channel 5.
Of course.
Be no options there.
Wouldn't be any other channel. Where else could you see the TV King?
I might mention this is our 4th year with WLW doing the show, and I tell you what, I've been watching the show myself for probably about 20 years, and WLW Cincinnati style, doing it right.
Well, that's because we have directors like Roy Alpers, who's handling the action today, and the whole crew that comes out every morning when it's bitterly cold, setting everything up and giving you the pictures.
Not today, though. It feels pretty good out there today.
Although today
Look at
they did get a break,
That
and
was
so
a great
did Robin Burrus. Oh, let's take another look at this one. Let's take a...
This is an absolutely power shot. Let's take a look at it. Head pin, center of your screen is going to do the damage. The messenger pin, you see it go to the wall there. Come off the wall. It's seeking out, destroy the 10 pin. Gotcha.
Was running laps there. Went to one wall, then came back across and took out the 10 pin.
That's the power we talked about. The big turn, the big crank, that throws pins around, creates a pin action. But it can also create a problem for you like right there. If you don't control that monster hook, that heavy roll, you're not going to leave the single pin spares. You're going to leave the tough ones. Here he leaves the 2, 4, 10. He's going to have to try to throw the 2 into the 10 pin, let the ball carry through, and take out the 4. A very difficult shot.
You know, David, you're talking about the monster roll, the hook. Don't you think the game has changed over the years? I remember the down and in shot, the full roller shot, and these kids today are cranking the ball up. It's unbelievable.
It is phenomenal. Bo, I tell you what, we'll take a look at the score and then touch on that again, but it is something that the game has changed, no doubt about it.
You were mentioning a couple weeks ago, Mr. Gant, John Gant, as you take a look at the score right there. John Gant really has a lot of revolutions on the ball. He just cranks it. We had a chance to see him a couple weeks ago on PBA.
That's right.
The situation is this: if George Richmond strikes in the 9th and 10th frames and takes it out, he's got a chance to win, but he is lost. Both bowlers are really, really uncomfortable. I just think neither one of them hit on the right combination so far here today.
Now, Dave, if you're Butch Temke and Bill Heflin sitting back watching it, do you start to build up the wonderment about the lanes?
Well, sure you do. You know, watching the bowlers in practice, they've all got their basic positions figured out on the lanes where they want to play. But, hey, the TV lights changes things, and they're going to have to come up with an answer. And the better bowler, the more intelligent bowler with probably the more experience may be the winner today. And if that's the case, the advantage would go to Heflin.
That's right. Be interesting if Richmond makes it all the way to the championship match between he and Heflin. You're talking about 50 years worth of experience.
Oh, there he goes. That's my little boy, little David Benjamin Jr. and Mommy. I drag him out of bed once every year to come out and watch the TV show.
I think they came out to see Dad this week. Unfortunately, like you said, you were just nudged out by a little bit better talent.
That's right.
On this given week.
On this given
week.
We're going to see if we can change that this afternoon. I've been throwing the ball a little better, Tom, but a lot of people ask me. I do have a lot of distraction. I recently bought a business. It's a little welding supply business, Jero. Get my free plug in there. But running a business creates a lot of distractions, and the game of bowling is so much mental that if you have any distractions like sickness in the family or business problems or concerns, hey, it's going to affect your game.
Plus, I don't want to belabor this point because I'm sure you don't use it as an excuse, but it's pretty tough to come off elbow surgery and not only come off it as you've done so well, but make up for that time that you were off.
It is very difficult, and I feel pretty good physically, and mentally is the only thing I have to work on, and when you don't have enough time to practice, it makes it tough. This game has come down to the wire. Very simply put, George, right there, George has got no control over what's going to happen. Any kind of a mark right here, and you're looking at our winner.
Once again,
The party is not over.
this is the opposite of what George Richmond was looking at.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the sheet. There you see my brother-in-law's head. There we took care of him. But the situation is this. He needs both pins and then one in the fill to win the game. But he's got to have this spare, the 2-8. Very difficult for the big roller. Let's watch.
Got it. He came so close to chopping that one like Richmond did earlier with the 3-9. So one pin is what Robin Burrus needs.
There you hear the fans telling him what he's got to do. Just keep it on the lane. Right now the match is dead tied. All he needs is one pin, and he goes on to face our second match, Butch Temke, which on the way to Bill Heflin. That'll do it.
Yes, sir. Doesn't matter. Just had to keep it on the lane. So Robin Burrus, the winner in game number 1, week number 9, Pewter Polls TV King of Bowling, a 180 to 172 winner over George Richmond. Game 2 up next against Butch Temke as you're taking a look at the winning form of Robin Burrus.